Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. Today's Thursday, February 25th. Yeah, I'm getting good at this. No, I'm not. 2016. My name is Quirk. Welcome to the Morning Drive, where I drive to work, and while I'm driving to work, I read your comments. Your comments come from the previous video where I basically did the same thing. So I'm going to read your comments. If I run out of comments, I'm going to start rambling. So with that, let's get started with the first comment here, which is going to be read in just a moment, as I'm totally driving onto the road right now. Okay. Where are you? Also, if I look really tired, it's because I am. I made the mistake of staying up until 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Today, technically. But for a good cause. I was on eBay. I was waiting for something to finish, and I was like, I am so sniping this at the end. And I did, and it was great. And I felt like $1 million, and I spent the money on the item, and I was like, oh, I feel like I just spent $1 million. So, but it felt good. It was a good item. It was good. It was really good. I saw one before, and I was like, I want one of these. I ended up buying 3. So the first one is from CJ Phoenix. Morning. When making a model, do you ever go Okay, hang on. I'm going to stop for this one. CJ, your comments are getting all over the place here. What's going on? Okay. When making a model, do you ever go magnet made and magnetize all the options? I'm currently working on a Vanguard squad with magnetized arms, so I can do multiple weapon options. Yes, I do. Steve and Lee and Josh will always bring up the fact that I am a magnet fanatic. I love to magnetize anything and everything I possibly can. And I had a Sakaran battle tank, and I magnetized things that didn't need. I put magnets on things that didn't need it. So on the side sponsons, there's a little divot, and in that divot you put the mount for the weapon. Then you have the holster, or like the harness for the weapon, that actually like holds the mount, I guess. It would be the weapon mount. And then like the weapon fits inside, so it's almost like a little clasp. It's pretty much the same design that a Land Raider has, except add one more part. So what I ended up doing was I magnetized the like mount to the Land Raider, then magnetized the gun frame to the mount, which was magnetized to the Land Raider. Then I magnetized the gun to the gun mount that was mounted to the, I ended up using way more magnets than I needed to for like stuff that didn't even need it. But anyway, I love to magnetize stuff. But yes, we're doing the Death Watch campaign, and everything's magnetized. So yeah, we're getting a little ridiculous with some of these magnets. There was one time that I made a action figure Marine, and it was a Grey Knight, and I had his waist magnetized to his body, his shoulders magnetized to his arms, his shoulder pads magnetized to his shoulders, his wrists were magnetized to his hands, and his head was magnetized. I didn't do his backpack because at the time I just didn't care for the jump backpacks that the Grey Knights have that like look like they teleport. Didn't really do much for me. So I had to completely magnetize. So not only could you swap out the arms or the weapons with different weapons, you could swap out the arms with different arms. You could just put them all into different poses. And I basically, made an action figure Marine because every little joint on him moved. It was cool, but at the same time, I was like, I spent way too much time and effort on this poor guy. So, yeah. Anyway, next comment is from. I'm trying not to crash here. Actually, let me do this turn really quick, or semi-quick, moderate, 90 kilometers an hour quick. That's how fast I'm gonna do this turn. I got this weird. I thought it was gonna rain today. Not raining today. It's like a mix of, it's coming down, it's landing as snow, and then melting. I don't like it. It's like you need to decide here. Do you want to be rain or do you want to be snow? If you're going to be rain, become rain the whole time. If you're don't like this whole falling slush thing. Again. Next comment is from Jacob Arthur. 2 questions. 1, is it in the Salamander's lore to use land speeders? I don't see any reason why you can't use them. Obviously, they're Space Marines. I don't think it was one that was like their primary mode of transportation. Their whole thing was that they like to use the Land Raider Redeemer, I think it is, that has the flamethrower sponsons. They're a huge fan of those. But yeah, if you're looking for like an excuse to bring them, just be like they're Space Marines. They use anything and everything that's like within the Imperium's options. So yeah, go for it. And 2, do you have any funny injuries? Yes. In my entire lifespan, I've only ever broken one thing, but I've broken it multiple times. That's my nose. I think I've broken my nose about 6 times. It sucks. But this one time when I was just getting into motocross, I was really, really young. And I didn't understand the whole clutch shift mechanic and having to go through the gears. And so basically, as we're riding along, I'm just constantly stuck in first gear and my bike sounds like it's dying. And the guy who's taking us out on this trail stops everybody, looks at me and goes, do you know how to shift gears? And I was like, yeah, you go up and down. He's like, okay, please shift gears because you're going to blow the engine on that. I'm like, okay. So we're going along. I can hear the engine starting to sound like it's dying. So I'm like, oh, I should shift gears. I don't hold the clutch, and all I do is I end up kicking the shifter down. Yeah, I kicked the shifter down like an idiot, and it shifted into gear. I thought for sure, looking back at it, it should not have happened, but it shifted into gear, bucked so hard, threw me, and I ended up going flying off the bike. Ended up slamming my leg into a tree and hitting the ground. My mother, who the entire time was like, I'm so not very good at dirt biking. Look at me trying to learn how to dirt bike, suddenly became the 2002 motocross pro from the back of the group, saw me hit the tree and was like, motherly instincts kick in, does backflips and stuff to get past people to go up and make sure that I'm okay. I'm laying on the ground, I think I broke my leg. Don't touch my leg, I think I broke it. So they end up getting a car out there and all this stuff. I go to the hospital, they take x-rays, on and on and on. But the entire time I'm I think I know I broke my leg. My leg feels broken. I flew and hit a tree with my leg, it's broken, on and on and on. So the doctor gets the x-rays, blah, 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 comes out, walks right up, slaps his hand on my leg and goes, how you feeling? I screamed. I was like, what? I'm a little kid. I totally thought that he just grabbed my broken leg. So I lost my mind. And afterwards the doctor was just like, okay. I have your x-ray here. There's no break. There's not even a bruise. Are you sure this is the leg you hit? And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're having a stun, whatever it is. You basically hit your leg and your mind went into shock. So I'm like, oh, so I'm okay? And they're like, yeah, you can totally stand up and walk right now. I'm like, oh. So I stood up, started walking around. I was like, okay, my bad. But I had everybody thought that I had busted my leg. I thought I busted my leg. All the instructors were panicking because they're all younger, 20-year-old guys just starting out, have this dream job where they get to ride dirt bikes all day. And now they're all worried because some kid wiped out that they're all going to lose their jobs. So yeah, that's probably my funniest injury story, because I got my just desserts. That doctor kind of was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have fun with this one. Slaps my leg. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's my funny injury story. My mom doesn't find it so funny. She doesn't like when I tell that story. And I just told the internet. Alright. Next comment I have is from Bearing91. Just answer that you work in a retail store, or even better, I work in retail. Yeah, there's a bunch of different options I could have said to the girl. That would have been like any girl, that could be so much better than what I choose to say. But at the same time, I kind of like want an excuse to show them the website, just to show them the Quirk in a Box video, because who doesn't love that video? And also, it totally gets me victim stats, or victim points, for like when girls are around, because they're like, oh, all your coworkers were mean and shoved you into a box. Come here, let me hold you. I'm just like, this was like months ago, but yes, it was so recent and tragic. Hold me. So, there you go. Next up is Axis762. When I'm asked what I do for work, I reply with, I keep myself occupied. Like right now, I'm at work just watching you while waiting to go to the firing range for the next few hours. Cool. We know you keep yourself occupied at work, but did you keep yourself occupied? Like right now, I'm at work and watching you while waiting to go. Oh, it's just the same thing repeating itself. Okay. I don't know why it repeated itself there. Okay. How do you keep yourself occupied? Oh, how did you keep yourself occupied in past jobs? That was the question. Okay. I don't know why it's having a hard time copying and pasting on Notepad right now. It used to separate everything really nicely, and now it's just like, so. It's gonna sound really nerdy on my part and oddly appropriate, but when I used to work in call centers, the way I would keep myself occupied was I'd actually read through codexes. I'd read like the backstories, or I'd read 40K novels, or if they would let me, I'd bring in some paints and some models and actually work on them. I had for a little while a job where I was doing like over the phone sales, but from home, and that was pretty good because it was basically 8 to 10 hours a day of me saying the same scripted line over and over and over again while painting something. So, but yeah, usually it was reading, and that for some reason that throws Matt off every time I say it, because apparently I don't come off as a reader to him. But oh well. But yeah, that's how I get myself occupied usually. That or talking to other people that I work with. Here it's just I can keep myself occupied with my job. It's sweet. Next up we have Evan Bertucci. Yep. As I say it, he's got like instructions on how to say my name. Hey Quirk, yes, you got my name right on the first try. Sounds like Bertucci. Anyways, just wondering, since you like your video games, have you tried Death Watch on the iPad? I find it's much better than the previous attempts at turn-based 40K kill team style games. Oh, check out that car behind you, and for the love of everything holy, stop yawning. 8 a.m. is not early. Seriously though, I enjoy all your content, man. Thank you. It's not early, but for like, I guess it doesn't really matter what time you wake up, it's how much sleep you got, right? But I have tried the Death Watch game. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I thought the actual storyline to it that it had, like the storyline that it has is just enough to kind of be like, okay, you don't really know what you're doing, but you know what you're doing. So I'm like, okay, cool, I like this. It's got some mystery to it. Let's do this. Let's boogie woogie rock and roll. Come on. Show me some Gene Stealers. So no, I like the iPad one. I don't care for, I want them to have a speed up button. I know they have one for the tyranny turn. I'd like one for my turn if I have a guy walking a really far distance. But if he's carrying a heavy weapon, he actually will be like clunk, 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 clunk. I'm like, okay, we get it. He's slow and heavy. Let's move it along here. But that's my only complaint about the game. It's just that your turns go by a lot slower than they need to, and there needs to be a fast forward button or like a double time animation button or something like that for it, just to kind of keep it from feeling very repetitive, because it does start to feel very repetitive after like 3 missions in that hive area. You're like, oh, I have to shoot through these walls and get to that zone. Okay, shoot through the walls, get to the zone. Next one, oh, I have to navigate this room full of like hormigons. Done. Oh, next I have to like navigate this room full of doors and hormigons. Oh, they're getting creative. And then it starts to actually show like really cool stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, now it's nice. But I guess those were just like learning missions or something. I think a rock just hit me. Cody Asher, you would rather tell them you are unemployed than you are a painter for a living. Question, do you prefer large point games or smaller ones? Personally, I love the feel of Apocalypse. It kind of depends on the mood. Like, there's sometimes when I'm just like, I want to play like a kill team or 500 point game. And there's other times when I'm just like, I want to invest so much time into this game and it's going to be epic and awesome. Like when Mini Wargaming did the Apocalypticon, I had the Emperor Titan, and I spent a good month and a half building it prior, and I was like, I am so freaking ready for this game. So, and then it happened, and Matt puts me on a board with a bridge, so my guy's feet don't even fit on my side of the board. I'm like, I need a solid 24 inches on my side, because that's how big my dude's, or I need a solid like 12 inches on my side of the board, because that's how big my dude's feet are. And Matt's like, oh, let's switch that up then. I was like, thank you. That was before I worked there. Now I work there, and Matt wouldn't have been so courteous, because he's just like, Quirk, deal with it. I'm assuming, I have no idea. Matt's gonna watch this and be like, I have to hurt him now. So, all right, next comment. Whoop. We got a red light. How convenient is that? I actually get to read it all proper, like. I almost rear-end the truck in front of me. Lane Strandquist. First off, Lane, totally watched Letterkenny. Was hilarious. Thank you so much for showing me that. Turns out the entire office enjoyed it. So, we thank you. Sorry about the long comments. I will try to keep them shorter and not distract you when driving. I already saw your post on Facebook from the first Irritated Wargamer video. I just thought your daily sit and talk. This is awesome. Do you think Josh will soon get his own sit and talk week? Are you and him still going to start a War Machine and Hordes videos? Yes, we are. We're actually working on a War Machine Hordes campaign. If you go on the Mini Wargaming Facebook page or on my Facebook page, you'll see a butcher who's painted up in Menoth colors. There's a reason for that. So that's what we're working on right now. So she's gonna be good. She's gonna be good fun. I thought it was funny actually. I took that picture and then put it on Twitter. I was just like, I think I broke it, Privateer Press, and Privateer Press was like, yep, we think you did, and then retweeted it. And I was like, uh-oh. And then my Twitter feed just like exploded with people liking it. I was like, I don't use Twitter that much. I just know Privateer Press would see it. I just wanted Privateer Press to acknowledge my existence. And they did. And then they broke my Twitter. That sounds terrible. You know, it's early when it takes me a good like 2 seconds to realize what I said. Alright, and next up we have Brian Davenport. I like the rain in the videos. It's very soothing in the background. Can you do the same thing tomorrow? Thanks. No, I'm sorry. I'm not Storm from the X-Men. I can't control the weather. Because if I could, every day would be perfect. Just for you, Brian. I got one more comment I'm going to read when I get to the driveway. Or to the parking lot. To the driveway. Once I get in the driveway, I will go ahead and proceed with this future comment. Ow! Alright. I can't move that slow if I'm not in first. There we go. Alright. The last comment here is from Deep Fried. I'm going to go with Noodle. That's not what it says, but I'm totally going to call it Noodle. Hey, Quirk, how do you feel about the Orc Decurion style detachment in the new release for the Gazgul book? I find it to be a bit underwhelming compared to the other armies, unfortunately. I was hoping that the boys would get something to help them be a little more competitive. I totally agree. For those of you who don't know what it does, basically, in a nutshell, you have to take some requirements that you'd normally take anyway. There's a couple units in there that I wouldn't normally take, but there's no harm in taking them. They're not that expensive. It's not a huge tax in my mind. And basically what it is you can wog every turn, including the first turn, which is pretty sweet. If your unit has at least 10 boys at the beginning of the charge, they gain Hammer of Wrath, and you can reroll your Warlord traits. They seem really good, but when you consider what orcs can do on their own, it's like, that's a little bit of help, and basically all they're getting right now is what Harlequins get just by being Harlequins. And yeah, so I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't think it's a solution to the orc problem. I'm just making it sound like it's an infestation. The orc problem, we need to deal with it. No, I don't think it's a solution to the orcs. I think they actually need full-on new models. They need stuff that can actually straight up combat the new stuff that's coming out for the other factions, and without it, they're always going to be a mid to low tier army. That's my opinion anyway. But there you go, guys. That was the comments for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. As always, if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, or if you just want to comment read on the internet, go ahead and leave a comment below, and I will read them tomorrow on Friday. Until then, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have yourself a wonderful day. Happy wargaming.